Now with today's checklist, May is American Stroke Month, so we want to spotlight key information regarding prevention and what to do if someone you know experiences a stroke. Dr. Carolyn Brockington is a vascular neurologist and the director of the Stroke Center at Mount Sinai West and Morningside right here in New York City. Dr. Brockington, good morning.
Welcome back.
Hey, Doctor.
Thank you.
So this is important, that people know, first of all, what a stroke is and how it compares to another heart condition like a heart attack or something like that.
Yeah, I think sometimes there's a lot of confusion between what's a heart attack versus what a stroke is, and people think maybe they're the same, but they're not. I mean, both are caused by not enough blood, right, or interruption of blood flow. But a heart attack is when you don't get enough blood to the heart, and so you might get chest pain, discomfort, shortness of breath, dizziness, problems with the arm, sometimes pain to the left side. Stroke, or sometimes they say brain attack, is not enough blood flow to the brain. So depending on the symptoms happen suddenly, almost like a light switch going off, right? And suddenly you have the symptoms. So we know that the left side of the brain controls right side of the body, right side of the brain controls the left side of the body. So people can develop symptoms suddenly over seconds to minutes.
Oh my gosh.
And if the brain doesn't get enough blood flow, that part of the brain can be injured. So that's why we say time is brain. Every moment that goes by, every minute that goes by, potentially 1.9 million brain cells die. So we want people to be able to recognize. I think one of the biggest myths of stroke is that people think, oh, it only happens if you get older. If I'm not old, I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But anyone can have a stroke, right? The incidence of stroke does increase as you get older.
Sure.
But just because you're young doesn't mean you're protected.
Right.
So we want people to know that strokes are preventable, treatable, and beatable. Yeah.
Doctor, what are some of the signs and symptoms we need to be looking
Yeah,
for?
it's important because, again, we don't know what part of the brain is going to be affected. So we want people to understand the signs and symptoms of stroke. And we say that stroke or the treatments of stroke is time dependent. So we say we want people to be fast, right? So if you think of the acronym B for balance, suddenly people might have difficulty with balance or coordination, acting like they're drunk, but they're not drunk. E is for eyes, vision. Sometimes you might lose your vision in one or both eyes or double vision. F is for face. If you see your face drooping on one side, that's not normal, right? If that happens suddenly. A is for arms. You can't keep your arm up or your leg up so that you have weakness on one side. S is for speech. Suddenly your speech is slurred, or you're having difficulty finding the words. You can't find the words, so you don't understand what people are saying to you. And then T is for time. Again, we say time is brain, so we want people to call 911 immediately.
Be fast.
Right.
And here's the thing, and I didn't really know this, that I just thought a stroke was a stroke. There are different kinds of strokes.
Right. Strokes come in maybe two specific flavors, if you want to think about it. So the most common type of stroke is called ischemic stroke. So if we think of blood vessels supplying the brain like plumbing or pipes, that pipe might be clogged from a blood clot or from cholesterol causing the artery to be blocked, and that causes an ischemic stroke. That happens the majority of the time. About 20 to 25% of the time it's called hemorrhagic, so bleeding. So a blood vessel ruptures or spills and allows blood to spill in the brain. But we can't tell the difference until we take a picture in the emergency room. So that's why it's important to come in right away.
Be fast.
And time is so important, but what do you do in those moments from when you call 911 to when help gets there?
Very important. I mean, 1, 2, and 3, first call 911, right? Don't call a friend, don't Google, call 911, because again, we say it's important to get in right away. The second thing is, since most of the therapies are very time dependent, we want to know what time the symptoms started. So note when time the symptoms started, because that's when the clock starts, right?
Sure.
So we need to know that. Also, keep the patient calm. And relaxed, lie down, et cetera. And people tend to want to feed people, give them aspirin, et cetera. Some strokes cause problems with swallowing. And aspirin, we know, has some blood thinning properties, right? So we said some strokes are bleeding type strokes. So if you give somebody aspirin, you may potentially cause things to be worse. In the emergency room, when you come in and someone is thinking that they have a stroke, it's a stroke alert. It's a stroke code. So that means a very specialized team comes to the ER and is able to evaluate the patient, make the determination of whether they're having a stroke or not. And we have very effective therapies that are time dependent in order to treat
Dr. Brockington, thank you so much. This is really timely.
Thank
And
you
again,
very much.
treatable, too. There are lots of things that
We
folks
say
can do to
treatable, preventable, beatable.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you so
Brockington.
much.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.